Welcome back to the channel. For anyone who's brand new, please do subscribe and like. We're such a brand new channel that every single like and subscription and comment goes a long way. So please take the time just to hit the like button and do all that good stuff. To jump right in, I wanted to make an official prediction from this channel anyway, in terms of what I think is going to happen with HEX now going into this upcoming quote unquote hype cycle that many have been talking about. Now, right now we're at what? Just over 2.5 cents. For anyone who is waiting for that perfect moment to get into something like this, stop waiting. Dollar cost averaging has been proven really for a reason. You're never going to time the bottom. I personally don't think it's going to go down much more, if anything. And so this, for me right now, is about as good an entry point as you're likely to get. Just my opinion, of course. It isn't financial advice, but still, I believe strongly that it's really going to take some negative impacts coming from somewhere, some negative sentiment that, hey, you know, something could be announced that waylays things even longer and all of that stuff that will maybe convince people to start selling again, but I very much doubt it. So right now, just over 2.5 cents. I believe that when we get that Testnet v3 announcement that should be coming pretty quickly if everything is to be believed, that is the confirmation that a lot of people are going to need in order to get back in. I think that when Richard Hart, you know, while we can look at GitHub, while we can see a number of the tweets and the dev updates that have been coming out, whether they be true or false, we don't really know. But as much as we can put some stock in some of that stuff, I think that confirmation from Richard Hart himself will then set down a much shorter countdown until that mainnet announcement comes and things go potentially parabolic. So with that being said, what do I think this means price wise? I think, well, being that we're at 2.5 cents or just about at this moment, I actually think that it wouldn't, a 6 to 8 cents come Testnet v3 announcement, and then when it comes to fruition, is very, very possible. I think very, very likely, to be honest, as well. Now, once we get that first catalyst in place, obviously, as people start getting, as time starts going on, people start thinking about the possibility of mainnet. We'll probably see price action start to creep up incrementally there as well. And this is where something, you know, this is where things get a little interesting, because as crazy as it sounds, I actually think that when we get that mainnet announcement, within a matter of weeks, within a relatively short period of time, we could start testing all-time highs. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of you, but I think 40 to 50 cents is very, very possible when we have that. You know, I know it's, and this is just during the hype cycle. This is before we get into the bull market proper. I was watching a stream the other day with Walrus and Brandon and a few others. They were talking about their expectations. And Walrus brought up something that I thought was pretty interesting. And that's really the narrative and the mindset of everyone going kind of back into the HEX landscape. When HEX went through its first bull run and everyone saw those massive returns, a lot of people sold prematurely because, you know, as we reached 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cents, every step of the way was met with heavy resistance, heavy selling pressure, because quite simply, no one believed that it was achievable. We didn't believe that, you know, reaching those heights was attainable. We still were under that delusion, I guess it's been proven now, of market cap meaning a heck of a lot more than it does. And so now sentiment perhaps starts at a much more confident place. I think that, you know, as we start reaching 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, for the most part, people are still thinking, well, it hasn't even reached its all-time high this time. We still haven't reached 50 cents, so of course it's possible. Then I think we'll be met with, as we start approaching our previous all-time highs, certainly before mainnet launches, we will then be met with potentially some selling pressure. I think people are going to want to take gains, especially those who believe they missed out the last time. So rather than be even more patient, they're going to probably exit some of their position as we reach that stage, just to feel like, you know, they were able to capitalize now. Even knowing that they're probably risking that copy. And you know, obviously all of the value inherent in that when we get the PHEX copy as well. But there's so many motivating factors here that I do believe that, you know, reaching back up towards our all-time high in a matter of weeks, a relatively quick time frame, is very, very doable. Now, post Pulse launch and into the bull market, I really do believe that it's a very conservative estimate to believe that HEX will go to $1. I think there's a very real possibility that for any of us looking at our wallets, the amount of HEX we see in our wallets, we could potentially looking at least that many dollars. Whether that takes place on HEX solely, because I do think we'll reach that that all-time high initially on HEX. Now, if that happens on HEX solely, then we obviously have the bonus of whatever the PHEX is worth. If we get parity and it's anywhere near, the same price, great. But I think as a very conservative effort, perhaps that $1 mark initially will be reached between the difference of the two, or between adding both copies. So let's say, it's probably not going to be 50-50. Maybe it will if parity kicks in and it's a lot more accurate than we believe. But I think ultimately the combined worth will at least be $1. And then I don't see a reason why it can't go $2, $3, $4 in this bull market. We have so many of these catalysts that are going for this whole ecosystem, plus the fact that many of the folks who have been involved in this ecosystem for quite some time now don't actually put as much stock on market cap as they used to. Nowhere near. We've already seen this play out. That in itself is going to restrict a lot of the selling pressure, and those barriers of entry to those higher price points are being knocked down. They've already been knocked down, so reaching there a lot faster, and then extending past that into kind of the realm of the unknown. I don't think it's crazy to believe that. I know that a lot of you think, maybe thinking right now, this is a little bit too moon boyish, but I really don't think so. I think that that ship has sailed. I'm not saying we're going to get to $100 HEX, certainly not this bull market, but I do believe $1 to $2 to $3 is very, very possible. So right now, I mean, again, anyone waiting to get in at that perfect entry point, I probably would guide you away from looking for that, because it may restrict you from getting involved now at what could be the lowest price points or lowest entry points possible for a good long while. And then you're going to miss out on some monumental gains. So that's my take. Again, it is just my opinion, but I am certainly following my own advice. I'm getting involved right now a lot more heavily. I've been dollar cost averaging in, but right now I'm kind of putting my money where my mouth is. I have a strong belief in the catalysts that are taking place and the large runway that I think we have ahead of us with HEX, let alone, what that means in terms of really looking to get in the weeds and capitalize when the whole ecosystem's up and running, and the swaps and the trades that could happen within that process. But right now, I don't think you can go wrong getting involved in HEX at these points and then holding on until we get to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 cents. I think it's very, very achievable, as crazy as it sounds. But I guess only time will tell. Anything could happen. Nothing is guaranteed. We all know this, but I really am confident in this, and I hope a lot of you are too. I think the writing is on the wall. I've talked about the blueprint that, is there if you look for it. We could make some life-changing wealth right now. Some people asked me in the comments before if I think that this could change lives. Obviously, that's all relevant to, what amounts would change your life specifically. But I think with anyone who's been patient, or anyone getting in now with an investment of any level, the returns are going to be the same regardless of what you put in. You're still going to get the same number of X's, the same percentage. So every little helps. I hope this helped. I'm just a quick update while I'm in the car again. If this is useful, love to hear about it in the comments. I know it may seem bullish, but I wanted to put out a prediction that wasn't just this is possible, that is possible. I think what I've laid out is actually likely. And again, it's a risky thing to say on a channel like this, just because, you could go back and say, you were completely wrong. I could be completely wrong, of course. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not predicting anything with any amount of 100% certainty, but I do actually have conviction in this play. And I don't think I'm going to be wrong about this. Certainly, if not meeting the levels that I've set out, it's going to get close. So stay with it, stay patient, have faith and conviction, and don't make any sporadic decisions based on just getting too excited when things do start to kick off, because I think that's going to kick a lot of people in the pants and they're going to regret it. Thanks.